Okay, I'm sorry I have a sub today. Short day at least. I'm adding a couple extra assignments towards the bottom of this page for you to go and do. And I have this video here if you need some help getting through them. It's the same page that we saw yesterday. That link takes you to the same project that we had yesterday. These were the videos that we watched. And then video you're watching right now should be here. And I'm adding these extra 3. So if you didn't get to go and do these first 2, those were there last time, then we can do that as well. You might want to pause this video, or if you don't end up needing to watch the entire thing, you will probably want to go and just watch this format text video really quick. I will go through them in the video, but I'm going to reference this formatting text video also. So if you don't end up watching this entire thing, at least go and watch this short one that goes through all the new tags you're going to see on these 3 assignments. Don't feel inclined to watch all 20 something minutes. I don't know how long the video is going to be. If you need some help in a particular assignment, come back to the video, click through it, find the spot, and then you can watch how it's done. If you're doing fine, then don't worry about watching the entire thing. It's just for you if you need some help. Okay, so I'll start from the top here. If you didn't get a chance to look at the title tag last time, I'll go click on that one. Okay, so first assignment here is to add a title tag to your website. If I click on Let's Go, we can take a look at any starting code that they're going to give us. They pretty much give us the starting layout tags that you need for any website, and then they include the head tag with nothing in it. If I needed to take a look at the assignment again, I can click on the assignment tab over on the right. That'll give us the description again. We are adding the title tag, and we want to add it in between the head tag. So right on there on line 4, I can say title, and sometimes it does specify what specifically we want the title to be, because when we go and check the code, if it doesn't detect that phrase, it's not going to give it to you. So it does say to set the title of the web page to be all about Carol. So I'm going to say all about Carol. If I go back to run code and run it, I can double check that it's there. Now, as far as a title goes, I'm not going to see it in the preview window here. I could click the little pop out window to see it in a new window, and there I could test it and see that my title is in my tab. That's where it's going to be. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. First HTML page. This one says you're going to make your first fully formed HTML document from scratch. You're making a website with the title My First Web Page. The content of the page should have an H1 tag. You're going to be using all of these layout tags to make it. So it just showed you a version of all those tags, an example of all those tags. If you go back to the Canvas page, there's also a basic HTML template link that will give you an example of how to use all of those tags. That would be a great resource for you to have. I'm just going to go through what you should have in the layout and order of them. We're starting with the doc type tag, doc type HTML. We didn't do this one in the project that we went through. We skipped it. We just did HTML. The doc type basically tells the browser that it's about to read HTML code, HTML files. It's just giving them a hint on what they're supposed to read and how they're supposed to translate it. The actual HTML tag is where all of our HTML tags and code and all that is going to be in. So whatever's in between there, it's saying, hey, this is where the HTML code is at. Make sure, again, that you're going to read it as the right language. Then we have our head tag. This is all the extra information that a website might need, like the title. And then we have the body. This is where we put all of those extra tags in. We put the header, and we put the nav, and we put the sidebar and the article. All of that stuff's inside the body because that's all the visible content that you're going to see. There we go. If we go and check that, we're looking good. Oh, but we need an H1 tag. That's right. That was the main point, was that we want the content of the page should have a heading 1 tag that states your favorite band. So inside of the body, because we want to see it visibly, we have a heading 1 tag. And I'm just going to duplicate what the example says. My favorite band is the Beatles. And if I go check it now it detects that H1 tag, and we're all good. Okay, going back to the Canvas overview, and moving down to the new stuff. And again, you're welcome to I know you're switching between videos, but you're welcome to pause this, go watch this video on formatting text, and then come back if you need my help. If you don't need my help, if you go through this whole thing and you're fine, then don't worry about the rest of what I'm doing here. This is just if you need some guidance to get these done. Let's open up word definitions. Okay, we're getting practice formatting tags. We're giving a web page that has several vocab words defined, followed by a sentence that uses the word. So we're doing definitions here. So it gives you an example of what we're gonna make it look like. We want to bold each vocab word in the definition, and then we want to italicize each vocab word in the sentence. It gives us the hint saying that, hey, if we go over to the Docs tab, this is all the documentation that you have for HTML. There's a lot of stuff in here. If we're looking for how to bold and italicize something, normally I would go to text and font, but we haven't talked about or done anything involving CSS yet. We're still in the basics of HTML. So if I'm in the HTML basics category and we go to basic tags, this is where we're gonna see some really basic information like how to italicize something using an I tag and how to bold something using a B tag. So knowing that it's a B tag, and as an example here I have an opening I and a closing I that tells you when to start and end the italicizing. Same thing with the bold. Now that I know that, we can bold each word and italicize the same word in the sentence. So I'm going to do a opening B tag before malleable and then a closing B tag. I can run it just to make sure that it does do what it wants. So now that word is bold. Okay, I've gone through and added or surrounded these different words with the bold tags. I can see the result here. If I wanted to double check that I got that part right, I can hit check code, and there I have 4 B tags on your page. Vocab word should be bold in each definition. So that one's good. Then I can go through and do the I tags, and then I would get the other half here. I'm gonna move forward here to pet names now. Okay, add in the BR tags necessary to make each of the pet names listed appear on its own line. So again, it was mentioned in the video, that's not this one. We have a paragraph tag, and then we have 3 words, essentially. When we go to run this, even though these words are broken down on different lines, they hit the enter key to drop it down, it's not going to process that way. It's not going to be read that way. Most of the spacing and the enters are just for us to better organize and see what the code is doing. When this gets ran, it just gets sent into the browser and interpreted, and you're going to run into just regular lines here. So in order to force a break, a line break, like hitting the enter key, then we need to use these BR tags to initiate that line break. So it's going to be basically if I put it right where I want the next line to, or where I want the line to drop down, anything to the right side of this would drop down. So if I do a BR tag after Lilith and after Jasper, it will drop whatever's to the right of that down 1. I don't really technically even need them on the same, on different lines. If I had them on one line, it would do the same thing. That's essentially what it is already. Whatever is to the right of the break is going to drop down a line, and then same thing for the next one. It's going to drop down a line. Okay, we'll do the same down below here. Captain Corgi is one name, so you want to break there, and then Monster Buster is one name as well. So that will break those 2 up, and then you got Rover here. If we check that, we're looking okay. If you break this too much, like if I break Monster and Buster, the grader's gonna give you a hard time. So keep that in mind. If you do too many breaks, you should only have 4 total to get that. This one might take a little bit longer. You are given a web page that contains a block of text for the table of contents for Call of the Wild by Jack London. In this exercise, you will make this page a lot easier to read using your formatting tags. You have headings 1 through 4, and it's 1 through 6, so it looks like they don't want you to do anything past 4. You have an HR tag, which stands for horizontal rule, which is a line. That's how they're getting this line here in between text. I for italicizing, and then we have an example of what we're looking for here. So I'm going to guess this is an H1 tag at the top. Jack's line might be a little bit smaller. We have a horizontal rule. We have a table of contents, another smaller heading, another horizontal rule, and then all these different chapters have the same heading. So if we see what we get here, let me make sure that that is what you get. Okay, that's the starting code. We have our basic layout, HTML, head tag with the title, the body, and then we just have generic text in here that's waiting to have formatting applied to it. So we can just run through this and add these tags. I'm going to not necessarily do all these tags with you. I'm just going to kind of explain what the tags are that they want. I'm going to guess that we want a heading 1 tag right here because it's our main title tag. It's our main title of the website. We can then probably drop a heading 2, drop it down by 1 for Jack's tag. And I'd probably just go down from there. This one will probably be a heading 3. We need the HR tags in between here. That's why they gave you these spaces. And then the rest of these are going to either be, they kind of look just a little bit smaller than table of contents. So I would say all of these are heading 4. So that's probably why they only went to 4, because that's the end of it. So you do need to have separate heading 4 tags for each of these. You don't want to just do H4 and then come down here and do H4, because that's the whole thing's going to be like one big word. And then if you did that, that would really mess you up trying to do links and trying to space these out. If I run this, right, you're going to kind of have this. You're going to have this all mashed up and everything. When you do them separately, then they realize that they're separate parts of a document. I'll show you what these look like, just these first two. They'll break themselves apart and they'll give you spacing in between them. So when you do separate tags, they understand, the browser understands that, okay, these are separate things. It's not just one big block of text that we want to render that way.